So, it's me. Now, you might be looking at this map and like, Arg, Joe, what is this? This isn't the Wixo map. You were supposed to put Wixo 2 days ago. Yes, I know. So, I was planning on doing Wixo today. I really, really, really was. But, yeah. So, sorry, Emma. Don't, it's fine. Anyway, so the Wixo map. Well, it's not the Wixo map really. The computer with Wixo, I can't find it. So we have to do something else today. And what will it be but an Empire video? Because I felt like it. And who will be forming an empire today? But none other than Austria. So, Austria can't form an empire if NATO exists, so goodbye NATO. And they don't have a lot of early targets they can go after until they become a little stronger. And so, who will their first target be? But Liechtenstein. They die. Yeah, Liechtenstein didn't have a chance at all. Now, Austria, yeah. So they don't really have a lot of weak neighbors. Well, I guess you could say Slovenia is weak, but so that is who they'll go next. Go after next, I guess, but anyway. Their troops pour into Slovenia, take the Panhandle thing, take otherwise known as the capital of Slovenia, and soon the nation falls over to the Austrians. They completely annex it. 'Cause also, like Ades Pro did, once I say I get 15 empires, this would be our fourth because we did Ecuador, Italy, Poland, and now Austria. I'm going to do like Ades Pro did and put all of the empires on a world map, and they'll battle it out, including the remaining countries that are not empires, and see if they can survive, but they probably won't. And yeah, so Austria will then go after their neighbor Slovakia. They quickly take Bratislava, and this is where Hungary enters the war against the Slovaks, which doesn't change much, but who cares? They enter into Slovak because Slovakia is going to fall anyway, and take the eastern half, whilst the Austrians enter into the western half. Now, not wanting to fight the Hungarians quite yet, Austria makes the border at here, not their exact occupation zones, because I don't want to do that. And anyway, so Austria can't really fully annex this thing because they can't. It's kind of in a weird position. They might be able to later, but not right now. So they annex some of it in they annex actually the capital of Slovakia, Bratislava, but they also um puppet the rest of Slovakia that's on their half of the country. And as for Hungary's half, they um well, yeah. They just annex all of it because they don't have any weird connection problems like Austria does. Now, Austria kind of wants to reform Austria-Hungary, though it will probably just be Austria, but maybe. Mm. But anyway, yeah. And so they tell Hungary that they will help Hungary attack Croatia, um, if they agree to unite with them to reform Austria-Hungary. Hungary agrees, and thus Croatia is suddenly invaded by two countries. This part of Croatia, including the capital, quickly falls, and then it's just Dalmatia, which Italy does not approve of this wanting to reform Austria-Hungary sort of thing, as that would, if they wanted all their original Austro-Hungarian land, they would have to take roughly this area off of Italy, and Italy doesn't want that, so Italy will join the war as a third party and attack and take the rest of Dalmatia, but not just that, they'll take Istria and begin attacks into Slovenia and the Austrian area over here. Knowing they can't beat Italy quite yet, they agree to a term of peace where Italy gets this land as well as this. Austria has to recognize that Italy controls Tricete, Tyrol, plus their Dalmatia and that part of um Istria, Dalmatia, and that part of Austria that I just did that on. But yeah. So yeah. Yeah. But anyway, uh anyway, there so the Italians are happy and satisfied with this peace treaty, and there was one more term to this treaty that I didn't mention. Italy had to recognize the formation of Austria-Hungary. They couldn't deny it. They had to agree to its formation. So yeah. Now, yeah. How I'll show it is just like is like this with a white-ish, more light red borderline between the two so that they are in a union now. Austria-Hungary has been formed. Now, where is Austria-Hungary gonna go next? Czechia. So, people are starting to get worried about the unchecked expansion of Austria and now Austria-Hungary. So, Italy, France, Spain, Andorra, Portugal, Germany, and Poland will form a coalition against Austria-Hungary. However, they do not participate in the war against Czechia because they don't want to. Um, over and so the red will form a coalition too, Austria-Hungary. Greece and Serbia applied to join this. Um, so yeah, the Austro-Hungarians welcome Greece, but are reluctant to admit Serbia as they want the Serbian land. But Greece demands that Serbia join as they will not be in it if Serbia is not. And so Serbia does join. This causes, however, Turkey to join in on that side. And basically, it just sets off a chain of reaction across the Balkans where everyone joins different sides, which will end up looking something like this. So, well, anyway, sorry. Um, the Austro-Hungarians will begin planning war against the Dark Blue Coalition as their forces enter into their and yeah. Woohoo. Um, mhm. Also, just the empires will be at their peak in the video, where it's all the empires join and stuff. So yeah. So the Austrians will annex. I said the Austrians because I mean the Austrians. However, the Hungarians will annex the puppet state that is the heck no. Go away. Cancel. I said cancel. Oh, well, anyway. Sorry about that. Um, the that border will become the new border between. So this puppet was technically Austria's puppet, not Hungary's puppet, but the Austria didn't want Hungary to get mad that they had to fight that war and not get anything, so they gained that Slovak area. Now the Austro-Hungarians decide it's their time to strike. So if any empires do fall in their videos, it will be their borders right before they fell, just so you know. Well, anyway, yep. The war has been declared and it has begun. Now they were expecting war, obviously. However, they weren't expecting it this soon. So they weren't fully ready for this war. And so also Bosnia is kind of just weak in general because they have some errors. So yeah. Serbian and Montenegrin, as well as Austro-Hungarian troops, enter into Bosnia, quickly capitulating the country, as well as seizing Italian Dalmatia and pushing up. However, they are unable to make any large pushes into mainland Italy, even this new gained part up here. The Austro-Hungarians make small pushes into southern Germany and have a major front up in Poland, taking Warsaw quickly, as this is their focus. So they think if they can capitulate Poland, they can take Berlin, which will cause the fall of their northern front. And then they can focus on Italy and then take out the smaller powers over here if they are not taken out already. And Greece and Bulgaria will focus on not on Bulgaria, on Turkey. So that's basically their plan for this. And Serbian and well, there's these. So Serbian and Montenegrin troops are kind of allowed to just focus on whatever front they want because their first goal is to take out Bosnia and Dalmatia, and that's done. And so they just decide to invade Albania and North Macedonia. However, Bulgarian, and Greek troops do not join in on this as they are busy with the front in Turkey. Now, since so the one flaw with this plan is that all countries are supposed to be focusing entirely on one front, except for in some cases up here with this. But anyway, which is why Albania and Macedonia, despite being invaded, are able to secure some land in northern Greece and even take Thessalonica, causing major morale drops inside of Greece and a lot of unrest in Athens and other big cities in the south. Romanian troops also invade northern Bulgaria, but Serbia and Montenegro are kind of more spread out because they aren't really focusing on front right now, so they aren't really able to push farther into there. Hungary is pushed into, kind of, and yeah. Up here in Poland, Austria-Hungary is a pretty strong country, stronger than Poland, probably. So they reach up, meet up with Russian Kaliningrad, who may not be supplying them once they reach it, and they put off, encircle and destroy all those troops over there, and begin collapsing the Polish nation until it completely collapses. And they begin preparing for their next plan, which is to take Berlin, which is about there. It's pretty close to the Polish border. Down here, aiming to stop the Albanian and Macedonian invasion of Greece, Albania and Montenegro kick up their invasion of these two countries, completely capitulating them and freeing Greece. They then began sending forces to help with Bulgaria, freeing that area, and invading into Romania, which causes um that Italy, who is seeing by this point after the Serbians capture Bucharest and then Istanbul falls, and then the largest blow, which makes Italy make their largest decision of this war, Berlin falling to the Austro-Hungarians. Italy switches sides. This completely does not go in with Austria-Hungary's plans whatsoever. However, they agreed to let Italy keep all their territory if that they gained previously, except for a little bit up here in former Austria, if they help them, which Italy agrees to. And this completely causes the destruction of this coalition. Italy is told to focus on France and Spain, which they do, taking Corsica and the Balearics, landing in Catalonia, promising them independence, and so taking over the entire area. Invading up here, they also promise the Basque people independence, and so they uprise as well. The Catalans and Basque people meet up. They meet up with the Italians and begin a large front into northern France. Germany is invaded from all sides. Down here, Romania is forced to completely withdraw to help them defend. With now the Bulgarians and the Greeks completely are wiping out the Turks, taking Ankara. And after some more major gains, Turkey capitulates, then causing Bulgaria and Greece to focus on their next target, Romania, where the Balkan nations are, this is their only target, and except for Austria-Hungary, they have other targets, and so they're not fighting in this. And Romania and Moldova are completely capitulated. Munich and Hamburg fall. They push them down to the Rhineland. Germany surrenders. Alsace-Lorraine is seized by them. Italy is told to go up into France and meet up with the Austro-Hungarians. And once they take Paris, they should focus more on Spain. They do that, and then Paris falls to the Austro-Hungarians. They connect up fronts, and then encircle some people and then are told to focus more on Spain, which they do. Note that Austria-Hungary is the leader of this alliance, even though Italy might be a teensy bit stronger. Madrid falls to the um Austro-Hungarians and Italians. France surrenders. Spain is completely capitulated. And so, also just realized Italy is going to have formed a bigger empire than this in their empire video, which is why I'm going to do part 2 of the Italy and Ecuador one. As since they were sharing one, they didn't get that far. But anyway, let us do the peace treaty. So they'll take, well, the Italians will take this part of France. They'll also take Corsica. They will relinquish parts of that. They keep some. They will also be given a slight expansion into Bosnia, controlling the entire Adriatic coast over there. Montenegro will expand like that. Serbia will do that. Um, Serbia will also get this. Bulgaria will get this. As well as Macedonia. Greece will get southern that. Don't ask what southern that is. Southern Albania. Greece will get this. Bulgaria will get this. Moldova will um be let free. Um these people don't, I mean the Austro-Hungarians, the people this video is about, you know them. Um They get Bavaria. That's not really Bavaria's borders. It's somewhat close to it, I hope. Because they anyway, yeah. Um Hungary will get, also Serbia will get a good chunk of Bosnia. So will Montenegro. This goes to Hungary. Hungary will also get that, which is a kind of expansion of their borders from 1914, going a little more south. Up here in Poland, that will be given to the Austro-Hungarians. That border is yet to be decided. And Austria will also gain this. And now let's actually do, oh, also forgot over here. Catalonia will gain independence. The Basque will gain independence. I also know they're technically in France, but I'm not going to give them that. Also, Germany will be turned into a puppet state. Alsace-Lorraine will be given to the German puppet state. Yeah. Also, Poland will be a puppet state. There are also a couple other countries that are probably going to be puppet states, and I'll just tell you once I'm done filling in these. And now let's decide our Hungarian Austrian border. It will look something like that. Um, this is kind of a like an Austrian and Hungarian formed an empire video, so that's what I'll call it. Not what if Austria formed an empire. So this empire will be, these are the 4 and 5 empires. They will be included in the thing, though they'll probably be independent from each other so that it works better. You'll see more about that being independent from each other thing at the end of this. But anyway, um, Hungary will annex that. Serbia annexes this. Mont. This is also probably the the empire who has gotten by far the most allies so far. Which is actually kind of I don't like that they got so many allies because now I have to draw a bunch of tiny minor power borders. Well, I guess Italy isn't really a minor power, but you know what I mean. Dude, yeah. I actually Italy is my favorite country. Don't take that the wrong way, Italians. There are, according to YouTube Analytics, 11 Italians who watch my videos. So, yeah. It's more than French people. Because there's only 10 French people. French people. Actually, I like France too. They used to be my favorite country, but now Italy is. Sorry, France. You just weren't good enough. They're still my second favorite country. A lot of my favorite countries are, in fact, in Europe. There's Italy, France, Germany, Austria, Sweden, the Netherlands, Denmark, Portugal, Bulgaria, Turkey. I'm just realizing a lot of my favorite countries in Europe are on this team. Turkey, Italy, Austria, Bulgaria. I also like Hungary. You don't. Wahaha. So yeah. Okay, it's just don't know why I'm doing that, but anyway, we'll erase the Hungarian board off the face of the earth, the earth. Live. Anyway, now let's color in the puppet regimes, which will probably be a majority of Europe. Yeah, there's a puppet. That had best be made a puppet as well, so they can't rebel. So they can rebel still if they're a puppet. And if he God talk about that. Also, I forgot some of these border changes up here. Evil Thunder and evil. Well, I guess the dog isn't evil. The dog is good. That also Portugal won't have any internal errors like so many countries in this globe, this global world. Also, Andorra will have to be forced to join this alliance. Sorry, Andorra. You just couldn't. You contributed so much to the war effort that Austria-Hungary was so impressed that they invited you to join their alliance. Yeah. And well, they didn't really invite you, they forced you to. But anyway, we don't talk about that. We didn't talk about Varna. Don't ask. If you don't know what Zornoth is, you don't deserve to know what Zornoth is. 'Cause we don't talk about Zornoth. And yeah, so eventually the puppet states will never be released. And then the Great Divide happens. Austria-Hungary collapses. However, they stay friendly and in the same alliance and all that nonsense. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and don't hit that dislike button. Goodbye.